What is up, guys? It is the Sleeping Gloom here, and today we're going to be checking out one of my favorite pieces of my Pokemon collection, and that is my Pokemon Cube. Alright, well, some of you guys might be asking yourselves, what on earth is a cube? Well, a cube, it is a collection of cards that you create, you select what you want within it, and then once you've done that, you take a group of players, and then you create packs out of those cards. You will then draft from them. What drafting is the most common way to do it is, you take a pack, you open it, you find a card you like, you take it, and you pass it to the person to your left or your right, just depending on what the current rotation is in the draft. Once you guys have drafted up or selected all your cards, you are then going to create a 40 card deck. It's similar to how the pre-release format is played, where you have the 40 card deck, you have 4 prizes when you play, and that is your goal, to create a 40 card deck, and even a side deck. A lot of people will do a side deck, maybe of 5, 10, 15 cards, just depending on how you want your cube to be. Then, once you've drafted up your decks, you're going to play in a tournament style, whether it be round robin, Swiss, just open games, doesn't matter, whatever your play group's preferences, you'll just play rounds with those decks that you've created. It is a whole lot of fun to see the type of decks that come out, especially just depending on how the cube creator decides to build it. And that's going to be what we go into next. What I've chosen to put inside of my cube. If you have a cube, yours may be completely different. You can do it in so many ways. Just the way that you build a cube, it is, it's up to you. If you like certain cards, you put it in there. If you don't like the way the current standard is, you're just tired of seeing certain cards, you don't put it in it. It all just depends. You're in charge of how you create it. Hopefully when you play it, your group enjoys it, and that's what you find out. You play things, you test it, you find out some things are too strong, you take it out, you find out about another card that you may have missed in your research, and you add it in. It's an ever-changing thing. It typically isn't going to stay the same. All right, now for the fun part. We're going to get into the cube and check out some of the decisions that I made when building it. There's just so many cool things that you can do, whether you decide to build your cube based around a certain set of cards. So you want to use just the Diamond and Pearl and Platinum sets. So all your cubes are from Diamond and Pearl, Platinum, and all the various sets within it. Or you want just a base set to Neo, just a Wizards of the Coast cube, which would be really awesome, but probably pretty expensive, especially depending on how you want to build it. I've chosen to do kind of just a base set through the most current set. I try to see a bunch of different combinations that you can do with all the great and cool, awesome Pokemon cards that are out there. There's just so many different abilities, Poke Powers, Pokemon bodies, whatever it is that you can have some cool combos with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the Pokemon out here. And I will put it off to the side. I'm just going to close this off, and we'll get back into it. And so when you're building it, a few things that you want to consider are, what Pokemon do you want to run? How many of each Pokemon do you want to do? There's just so many different choices that you can make. Let's start with, we'll just start off the top with the Psychic Pokemon that I've gone with. Okay, let's get you just a little bit further. Yeah. Okay. So, you consider things. So, this card, the Mimikyu, I really like its ability to stop bench Pokemon from being able to be healed, because healing is a pretty good archetype in my cube. There's a grass deck that has come up several times that is just really strong when it comes to the healing it can do. It can just tank up, and so having this Mimikyu could really stop it. And it's been added in later on, so you just kind of make changes. And so for my Stage 2 Pokemon with Psychic, I've chosen to go with Gengar, one of my favorite Pokemon. He's got a lot of great abilities, Pokepowers, and talking about abilities and Pokepowers, when you're mixing a lot of these sets, certain cards mix a little bit weird with other ones. And so one thing that I've chosen to do in my cube is an errata. We consider anything that says Pokemon Power, Pokebody, Pokepower to be read as ability. It kind of makes things work a little bit easier. Some cards do interact a little bit differently than they were when they were created due to that errata, which is okay. It kind of changes the way things are played with these other cards. And so, first Gengar I've chosen to play. This Gengar here, so cool. Reverse Hollow. Its life drain ability is just really, attack is just really awesome. For the colorless, you can flip a coin. If heads, you put damage counters on the defending Pokemon until it has 10 HP left, or it's 10 HP away from being knocked out. You combine that with something like having it be poisoned or any other condition that puts damage counters. They're going to have a bad time. We then have Gengar from Unbroken Bonds with its Shadow Pain ability. There are a handful of EX and GX cards in the cube, and being able to place those damage counters on it could be quite big. We've got 9 Curse. Being able to damage your opponent for placing energies, it can be quite brutal, especially when a lot of the Pokemon are lower HP. There's not a whole lot of GX and EX Pokemon that I've chose to put in it. And then lastly, we do have Gengar from the Sword and Shield base set. So I like the ability to move a damage counter around here and there. And 90 and put someone to sleep is nothing to scoff at in this format. But then we've got more of the Gengar line. And so how I've chosen to do it is I do 4 of the Stage 2. We got 4 of the Stage 1 with Haunter. But then we have 5 of the basic in Ghastly. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow your players to actually get these Pokemon out when you're drafting. Because something that happens is people who have played your cube more than once, they kind of find out which ones are really good, and so they go for those when you're drafting. And sometimes you get 2 really good Gengars, but you're only able to find 1 or 2 Ghastlys because a lot of people are trying to go for it, which is a fun aspect to drafting. It's a little bit competitive, as into knowing what other people are looking for and trying to take things away, or you draft a card and it gets beat really hard by a certain card. You see it, you take it, so somebody doesn't have the option to beat you with it. It's a lot different than just building a deck and showing up somewhere and playing. This Uxie, so good. Some of you may know Crobat V or Shaman EX from more current formats. This one's basically that, but just a little bit better. You draw till 7, and it doesn't give up 2 prizes. Mew EX is a fun inclusion into a cube because with all the different Pokemon, and this one being able to use the attacks of all Pokemon in play, there's a lot of things you can do with it. It is really strong. It usually gets picked up the second it's seen in a pack, which is good. You want certain cards to be really good. That's what pulling a pack is like. There's a few commons, uncommons, rares, and you might get an ultra rare. We've got this Deoxys. It's pretty good for setup. Another EX card in Cresselia EX. It's a card that I feel never got much play in the standard format. Wasn't super great in it. So I'm testing it out in the cube format to see if it's either too good with what I've got or if it's just right and it has a good place in here. And it also adds to my healing archetype that I like to have. And then we're going to go to our stage 1 line. And I've chosen to go with Drifblim. Drifblim is such an underrated Pokemon. I think it's so cool. And it's got a lot of really awesome cards. This one I particularly like with the artwork. The holo looks really nice. And we have this Drifblim with free attacks. Free delivery, put any one card in your discard pile into your hand. Ominous Wind, it's not free, but flip a coin. If heads, the defending Pokemon is not confused and can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. It's not huge, but it's a decent little attack. You're probably going to be using its free attacks, but it's got some decent stuff going on. This Drifblim is quite the big hitter. I won one of my last games in a tournament we played with this card. One of my friends had a pretty good spread deck going. I used the Damage Transport. I got this card off my prize. I drew it, evolved, double colorless, and Damage Transport, and moved all the damage that he spread and knocked out his big active Pokemon for the win. It was awesome. This Drifblim's nothing to scoff at. And then we got this one with Shadow Still, which is a really strong attack. For one colorless, 50 times the amount of special energies in your opponent's discard pile, you're going to knock something out. Especially if they're playing special energies. And then we've got your line of little Driftlins. So there you have it. That is an example of a line of Pokemon in a cube. This is my Psychic line. We're going to get into some other ones. Alright, now we're going to be getting into my grass line of Pokemon. And for my stage 2, I've chosen to go with Vileplume. Vileplume GX is a huge hitter in the cube. Fire is pretty good because of Vileplume. It has so many options when it comes to abilities, and this one in particular is a big hitter. It attacks strong. Like, it has a really strong attack. Massive Bloom, grass colorless, being able to do 180 damage, minus 10 damage for each damage counter on the Vileplume. It can just come swinging really quickly. And with its ability, being able to heal 30 damage from all of your Pokemon each turn, you're going to be able to get back 30 damage if it's still alive and able to do Massive Bloom. It's really good. We've got the disgusting Pollen Vileplume, allowing you to block off basic Pokemon. So that Mew EX I showed you a little bit ago gets beat by Vileplume. We've got Vileplume from Ancient Origins, and it locks off item cards. And we've got Vileplume from Unbroken Bonds, which allows you to flip a coin each turn, and you can put a special condition like Asleep, Burn, Confused, or Poison on the defending Pokemon. We've got some Glooms. This one of my favorite cards. That look a little familiar to you. We've got Gloom. And then we've got various collection of Oddish. Another 5. I think this one here has probably got to be my favorite. But I do really like the reverse holo and just the art on this one. All right, coming into my stage 1 line, we have Tangrowth. Tangrowth level X is very strong in this format. Its ability, Healing Growth, being able to flip a coin and if heads, healing 4 damage counters from one of your Pokemon. So strong, and with big growth, you're able to recover and search your discard pile for as many grass energy as you like and attach them to your Pokemon however you want. It's gonna be able to keep you in the game. This Tangrowth here from Lost Thunder, pretty good. Being able to hit for extra 130 damage if it was healed this turn. Healing. 100 Furious Lashes, 30 damage for each grass energy attached to it. Can't use it the next turn, but could be just one big hit that you need. And Bind Down, being able to stop retreat and heal itself. And I really like this Tangrowth from Platinum Arceus. Leaf Guard's really strong, being able to reduce damage done to it. We got an assortment of Tangela. Alright, and going into the basics. Shaman level X. Being able to add 40 extra HP to all your grass Pokemon. Yes please. Very strong. And it just looks really great. And then we've got an assortment of Shaman to go with it. And that is the grass line. Very strong. Vileplume is great. Tangrowth is great. This is an awesome combination of cards. A lot of level X's in it, which I like. Level X's are some of my favorite cards. And makes for some really fun gameplay. Let's get into the next set. Alright, now we're going to go into the electric line of Pokemon. And this one is a little bit shorter of a line. It's electric and dark. I have chosen to shrink down to a little bit smaller size, because there are a lot of Pokemon that are weak to electric, including those dark Pokemon. And it was really good initially when I had it with the same amount as the other, but that was also when my cube was 540 cards. And so what we've gone with the stage 2 line is Luxray, and Luxray is quite the cool Pokemon. We got a Luxray Break in here. Nice card. And we have chosen to go with Luxray from Rebel Clash. Very strong hitter. If you evolve from Luxio during the turn you would use Raid, you're going to do 160 damage for 1 electric. You're going to hit something really hard if you plan that right. Luxray, Flash Impact, 60 and 20 to a bench. Very strong. This one's from Next Destinies. Got Luxray from Flashfire, I believe that is. Fang Snipe. Your opponent reveals their hand and then you discard a trainer you find there. Pretty strong. And then we've got Intimidating Fang, Luxray, and just being able to tank a little bit of damage, especially if you get your break that's 170 HP, you're gonna tank quite a bit of damage. And then we've got some Luxio, 4 of them here. Got our 5 Shinx. Really like this one. Reverse Hollow. I'm a big fan of the ones that have the held items. Those are pretty cool. Fun mechanic that was out for a little bit. And then our basic Pokemon, Raikou EX. The artwork on it is so cool. Tapu Koko Prism Star. Makes for some fun gameplay. And then Zekrom. I chose to go with the promo. I have a ton of Zekrom cards, but I just have a handful of the promo. These cards are shuffled around a lot, passed around a lot. I just want to keep the nice ones nice. But there are some nicer versions of cards in this cube. And there you have it. That's the electric Pokemon. A little bit shorter line. But you'll find that sometimes you might make adjustments like that. I think we're going to do this one in 2 parts. So I'm going to do a little bit of trainer cards, and then I'm going to open up a couple packs, and then we'll close off this video and have another part. All right, and here are some of the draw trainers that I have chosen to go with. Initially, when I had the cube, most of my trainers were one-ofs. I really wanted a singleton cube where very few cards you would be able to see more than one, so they were basically all a rare. But then it came to find that just some cards were so much better than the others. There wasn't a great balance, and some cards you kind of just got because you had to. And I didn't find that to be so fun, but some people do. Some people really like a lot of variety, and it can make for a bunch of cool different decks every time. But I've chosen to go with a little bit more of a format or a meta of cards that I like to choose. And so, starting off with 4 copies of Bill. It's a trainer. You play Bill, you draw 2 cards. Pretty good. We're going to be playing 4 copies of Professor Oak. These are really strong because you know it's like Professor's Research, Professor Juniper, etc. And this one's a trainer. It's not a supporter. Really, really good. We do have 2 copies of Misty's Wrath. Love this card. So good. Plus the artwork is great. Misty is such a cool trainer, and that Psyduck. Psyduck's one of my favorite Pokemon. One of Secret Mission. Such a weird card, but I like it. You know, you look at your hand and then let's just discard any cards that we want from our hand and then draw that many cards. Pretty weird one, but it's fun. It's good. We've got Colress, such a strong card. One of my favorite cards to come out of Plasma Storm. Just being able to shuffle your hand into your deck and draw equal to the amount of benched Pokemon in play can just be huge. And in a format like this, you tend to see people playing with, you know, big benches. They're usually full because they draft a bunch of abilities that, you know, they like when they saw them, and you know, it's good. I like it. I'm a big fan of Colress. I choose to go with a few one-ofs that are kind of fun. Some people may see it and be like, "Oh, I gotta grab that." We got a Professor Rowan. Being able to choose a card from your hand and then shuffle the rest of the cards back in the deck, draw 4 cards. Sometimes you just want to be able to keep that one card and be able to maybe get some other options. It could be really good in a pinch. We've got a Giovanni Scheme. Pretty good. Give you options to either do draw until you have 5 cards in your hand or do an extra 20 damage with your attacks. Volkner's Philosophy, discard a card and draw until you have 6. And a Team Rocket's Trickery. This card's not super great at face value, but if you combine it with something that has some hand disruption, maybe something that's in the cube that I haven't revealed yet, but there are some cards that it goes well with. Hand disruption is a choice, an option in my cube, an archetype. We got 2 copies of Bird Keeper. It's a really strong card. I love switch effects. Just being able to get out of that active position when you need to, or get something active when you need it there. So good. And then being able to draw 3 cards, just get 2 effects. Really nice. We then have 4 copies of Copycat. Really like Copycat, plus the different artworks. I think this one's my favorite, the Heart Gold Soul Silver version. Or I guess Call of Legends, I believe that one is from. But this one's really cool. And then we have the old Team Rocket Returns. Here you'll see play for Lily, being able to draw till you have 8 if you go second. Such a strong effect. Draw till 8 is very good. 2 Professor Juniper. Gotta have Marnie. Being able to disrupt your opponent's hand is just so good. I love hand disruption. with this one, each player shuffles their hand into their deck, and then, or, God, I'm so wrong. I'm thinking N, I'm mixing with N, or Team Rocket's admin. You each shuffle your hands and put it on the bottom of your deck, and the person who plays it draws 5, your opponent draws 4, so you set them back a card, and you put it on the bottom of the deck. If they can't search their deck or somehow shuffle their deck, they're stuck there, and it could be really devastating. 3 Steven's advice. Steven is great. Where's the Steven box set, Pokemon? Where's the Steven box set? We have 1 copy of Cynthia. I just wanted to put it in there. 4 copies of N. N is my favorite card as far as supporters. So Rocket's admin essentially is also my favorite supporter. I love these cards. They're so good. Professor Oak's new theory, it is Cynthia, but I just like the Heart Gold Soul Silver art more, so I chose to go with 4 and 1. I wanted 5 in the cube. All right, and that is my line of draw cards. You try to go for something around like 50 draw cards, depending on what is in the cube. You usually want to go with a handful of draw Pokemon in the cube as well to balance it out, have some reoccurring draw rather than just supporters and trainers, but having a lot in the cube is great, especially because nobody wants to spend some time drafting up some cards and not get any draw. It's a big thing of Pokemon, and being able to draw cards is what fuels the deck of being able to run. So you want to play a lot of draw, essentially, is what I'm getting at. And so to wrap up the video, let's open up a couple packs, see what we get, and we'll come back to the cube at another time. All right, guys. Well, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Consider leaving a like, a comment, subscribing if you are liking the video, and let's wrap it up with some packs. I'm gonna open up 2 Sword and Shield and 2 Champions Path. Hopefully we can get a Rainbow Lapras VMAX or Marnie. Any Lapras card will be cool. And then obviously Charizard. It's really the only thing worth getting out of Champions Path. There's a few other V Pokemon that are cool, that are worth grabbing, but other than that, we're looking for Charizard when we open Champions Path. So yeah, let me know what you think about the cube. Are there any decisions that you think you would have done differently when choosing your lines of Pokemon? Or what do you use in your Pokemon cube if you have one? I'd love to hear about it. Talk strategy, talk choices that you've made in the cube, because I'm always looking to make mine better. I haven't played it a whole lot lately, which is understandable, kind of just the way things are. Reverse Citrus Berry and a Research, not bad. It's a good trainer. It's going to hold value. Yeah, let's talk cube. All right, kicking off with that Electric Energy. Reverse Toxicroak, that's a good one to get. And a Cinccino. Cool, that's actually a good pack for a non-holo. All right, Gardevoir Champions Path. Can we get the shiny Charizard? I have a Rainbow VMAX. A shiny would be great. I have 2 Japanese ones from Shiny Star V. I think this is actually my first Champions Path opening on the channel. I'm eager 2 packs, but yeah, let's see if we get lucky. Reverse Sharpedo and a Duraludon V. Not bad. He's pretty cool. And last pack. Yeah, thank you guys who tune in each and every video. It really means a ton. Check me out on Instagram as well. I recently made that. It's the_sleeping_gloom. And I post a lot of just pictures of cards from my collection and cards that we pull, and just kind of a little bit of updates of what's going to come on YouTube. Reverse research and like and rock. All right, well, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Thank you so much again for everyone who tunes in. If you're new here, I really appreciate you showing up. Consider pounding that subscribe button. It means a whole lot. And you guys have a great one. And as always, stay sleepy.